The world has taken to abalone poaching in South Africa. The dangerous business goes hand in hand with drug trading. It's believed that gangs are trading the marine molluscs with methamphetamine off the coast of the mother city. eNCA's Ronald Masinda has more on this story, joining us now live from our studios in Cape Town. Ronald, good afternoon. The abalone industry is said to be controlled by gang members?
Yes, Pradhan, well, that's what we heard from a number of sources that we spoke to earlier. We also heard that it has popularly been known, Pradhan, as an aphrodisiac, where many people from Asian countries like to use abalone. But what we know in the early 90s, certainly quite a number of gangs have infiltrated the industry, many of them stationed in coastal towns and villages of the Western Cape, in areas such as Hermanus especially, and opposite Hermanus is an area called Houston, where a number of gang members have been busy with abalone. And till today, I mean, one person that we spoke to didn't want his identity to be mentioned, also told us that a number of his own friends that he does poaching with, they are doing up to 30 years in jail because of their criminal records. And he also told us, Pradhan, that even per day, I mean, it's so lucrative that he gets up to perhaps between 3,000 to 7,000 rand just for getting abalone. But it is a very dirty business, according to many, where gangs are not only fighting amongst each other, but there's also allegations that some members of the SAPS could be involved in the poaching of abalone. We also heard that also the military also tends to go into these towns to do their own patrols, as it is such a serious offense, especially in these coastal towns. But one other person that I spoke to earlier with regards to this trade, he says that he's quite surprised that it hasn't been legalized by government, and that in the past, perhaps in the 80s and 70s, when he grew up, his own parents went out to fetch abalone, but because it's such a popular, sort of fish, many people have gone into the business, with some doing those trades where gang members find that, buying tick or stuff that creates tick from the Chinese market, it's a lot more lucrative than, I suppose, making tick here in South Africa. So that trade of abalone is quite easy for the market. Some do it for the money, but others seem to be doing it for the drugs.
Okay, and I understand you also spoke to the fishermen who say that they are forced to poach various other type of fish, not just poaching as a means of survival. Tell us more. What did you find out?
Yeah, so I visited Paternoster earlier on, where a group of small-scale fishermen have been complaining about the permits that have been issued by government, where in the past they were allowed to catch up to 800 kilograms of fish between the months of November and March. That number has been drastically reduced to around 30 kilograms of fish during the same period. And during the rest of the year, they are not even allowed to go out fishing. And those who have been seen out fishing have either been arrested or have been fined. And one of the fishermen that we spoke to said that they also see quite a number of police patrolling the sea. So that is a scary thought for them. They say they are finding it difficult to make ends meet due to the current economic times that many of them have to endure. Under the new regulations, they make up to 6,000 rand between the periods of November and March. So they say that they are really struggling to make ends meet, and that is why many of them have decided to resort to poaching. I mean, even if you go to these towns, you will see quite a number of them either selling crayfish or lobster, and many of them selling it illegally because of the regulations that they are under. We spoke to one of the representatives of the fishermen, and he elaborated further.
I would suggest that government or the decision makers must work with the man on the ground. We need proper engagements with the people that actually do the work, and that I cannot say that they don't have that, but it's not properly done. And the scientists that does the work at sea must also engage with the fisherfolk taking them out to where the actual fish is. Because scientifically proven, we have what, according to government, we have these reports that say that we are overfished. I would strongly disagree with him, because a month or so ago, just around the corner by us in Elands Bay, tons of fish, crayfish, walked out of the sea. Tons and tons of it.
Okay, thank you very much, Ronald, for that update this hour on this challenge that is being faced by the abalone poaching in the criminal underworld.